Hey guys, this is OddOneGaming. This is going to be another Dragonheir Silent Gods video. In today's video, I'm going to be talking about a massive mistake that I personally did this season that I hope it helps people in the future or people that are still playing to avoid this mistake, because you know what? It can cost you some really important stuff like some season rankings and all of that. What do I mean? Well, I mean the exclusive legendaries, the choices, and their artifacts. So I guess let me explain more what it's all about. So ever since Dragonheir came back, right, with the Reborn version, everything's been a little bit different. We have different banners, we have different ways of getting the legendaries. They've kind of changed the rates, they've changed the way that you can get, a lot more war model, a lot more hero dice. And the most important thing that they're doing every single season, it kind of seems, they have several different banners where if you hit the 300, right, if you do 300 pulls and you get towards the end of it, you get to choose a legendary from that. Now, obviously, the number one choice for this season, from my point of view, and I think everybody agrees, was still to go and save up initially to get yourself a Flora, right? That was number one, because Flora was and is the queen of single target damage. She's still the number one for Vortex. She's still number one for single target, wherever you have like a boss where you can survive. Like, for example, if we're going over to the Alliance ones, right? If you go to the Planar Expeditions, honestly, if you're gonna be looking at the records, most of the best teams are gonna be, stuff like Flora teams sometimes. Still, but I guess there is another one, which is, she's gonna be a little bit in the discussion today, but still, one of the top three in Planar Expedition is going to be Flora. If we take ourselves and go and look at Vortex, for example, you're gonna see that I don't know how far you're gonna scroll, but I'm 99.99% sure that anywhere that you look at the damage rankings, right, at the people over here in the rankings, doesn't matter if you click number one or you click number 100. I mean, it also depends on the activity of the server, but even still, you're gonna see that every single one of these are going to have a Flora team, right? Because Flora is still number one. However, the biggest mistake that I personally did, and I told people this season, unfortunately, because again, there's lots changed, so I just gave advice people based on the knowledge that I personally had, but hopefully you guys are gonna avoid this in the future. But mistake number one, unless you're like a really big spender and you can make sure that you get at least 4 out of the 6 exclusive legendaries, don't prioritize getting Flora and her exclusive. Don't do that, that's a mistake. I wish I hadn't personally done it. Just get her and you'll be just fine. Well, why am I saying that? Well, with Flora's exclusive artifact, which requires you to obviously get a dupe of her, plus use another dupe of a legendary, you only get about like 20 to 30% damage boost wherever you use her, and that is not going to be as impactful as getting another exclusive legendary, right? That's just the reality. That's what I've seen, that's what I've faced, and that's what I've been struggling with personally this season. Because as you're gonna see, if we go back, for example, to the to the end game boss, you're gonna see that there's no way that I can compete, unfortunately, because my server is pretty active. It has some krakens. Even though you see this ranking now, I'm dropping, right? I'm not top 100 on the daily or overall ranking, and that's because if I look, for example, at my challenge records, you're gonna see that I only have the one that at least that really matters, right? Just to be clear, I only have Flora that actually matters for the sake of trying to push damage to the next level. For Poison, I don't have Flora. For Dauntless, I don't have Nashchenka. For Frost, I do not have Vitar. For Necrosis, I don't have Lilanas. And then over here at the bottom, I do have Terendor, but honestly, it's not really required. Now, why did I want to emphasize on this? Well, I wanted to emphasize because personally, if I had known, right, but again, this is something that has become more knowledge as we played more and we tested more, but if I had known how the end game is going to look, especially, the Chief Challenges, the Chaos Shadows, I would have not prioritized getting Flora and her exclusive artifact. No, the next best thing that you should do, for example, if you're, still in this position and you're trying to decide what you should do, is make sure you get one copy of Lilanas, right? Lilanas is so amazing. I think she's actually number one for like chief challenge damages, that's, you know, she's just plain busted. She's just plain busted. You're better off doing that, right? You are better off just getting yourself a copy of Lilanas instead of getting Flora's exclusive. That way, you're going to be able to compete more in this point of the game, right? Because they kind of change a little bit. The way that you get the points is like Vortex is really important for the like first 6 weeks. But once you get, or like actually just 3 weeks, right? 3 weeks. Once we unlock the chief challenges, Lilanas becomes... I mean, look at this. The only teams that do over 500 million are the ones that have Lilanas in there. And she is just busted. I'm quite sure she can do the, you know, crazy amount of damage even without having the exclusive artifact. So that's the biggest mistake they've done. And I hope you guys don't do it. And if we like want to talk a little bit of like what should be some priorities, honestly, again, based on the testing, if you want me to make more of a breakdown on, you know, all 6 of the exclusives, where they can be good, where they are not, where I've seen them being used, where you should use them on all of that for Season 1, just let me know in the comments down below. But pretty much the thing that I noticed is that there's at least 3 out of the 6 that are going to be, you know, actually 4 out of the 6 that are actually game-changing and can be the difference between you being able to compete in the end game or not. And I guess if we just go over Workaholics teams, you're gonna see number 1 that's game-changing for end game is going to be Lilanas. She is just busted. The damage output that she can do for the end game boss, for the chief challenge Chaos Shadows, is just, you know, bar none. Like nobody else does as much damage as she does, obviously with the right setup and all of that. So she's gonna be, I feel like right now, if you're somebody that starts Season 1, it's mandatory, get the Flora, get the Lilanas, right? You should be able to get those 2 for free because the game throws enough Healerites and War models during the season where you should be able to get both. And I 100% believe you should get those 2. Now, those are 2 priorities. The other 2 ones that I believe to be, you know, extremely important, maybe one's more important than the other, are going to be the Dauntless and the Poison one, right? When it comes to Poison, for example, Dragonheir can do some obscene numbers, right? He's going to be really amazing. However, you can still do some pretty solid damage with just having Twitch, right? If you have Twitch and you have the statue of the Serpent Deity, you can still do a solid amount of damage with your Poison teams, easily break 200 million, and maybe even push a lot higher. You can see that, you know, the second team all actually that he has is because of Dragonheir, so he's gonna be amazing, right? Definitely want to try and get him. But another one that, again, it's maybe not number 1. You know what? This is like number 1, the most difficult one I found while doing the chief challenges, for example, the first phase, is going to be the Dauntless team, right? Let me see. Is there a Dauntless team here? Yes. So I swear I could not hit for the life of me 200 million, even though, you know, it's an old account. I spent in the past on it, didn't spend this season. But even though I had a good account, decent, you know, decent gear, had artifacts, it's close to impossible for you to hit 200 million in chief challenges and then push higher without having Nastrenka, right? That's 100%, like hands down. So again, if I would have tried to get another one, I think my priorities would have been still Flora, then a copy of Lilanas, and then a copy of Nastrenka. Because the quirky thing is, yeah, we have Divine Ascetic, we have Ivelios, just, I don't know, it's just so much harder to push the damage to be so high without having Nastrenka's damage output. And it's, you know, it's kind of sad. Maybe they should have put Divine Ascetic to be stronger, or maybe they should put push Ivelios, or maybe I just did not have the right, you know, team for that. I also did not have Staribol, so maybe that's another reason. But still, that's what I believe, right? That's what I believe. That's what I did as a mistake for Season 1. I hope you guys are going to avoid it, right? You start off fresh. Don't listen to my old advice of like, get Flora and her exclusive. No. Get a Flora, get a Lilanas, and then go from there, right? I think you're guaranteed 2 per season, so I'm just going to mention the 2. Flora and Lilanas. If you're deciding on a third one, I do believe if you have somebody like a Twitch, I do believe you can skip going for Dragonheir, even though he might be more viable overall. I think for the sake of endgame, go Nastrenka, because she pretty much guarantees you to hit 200 million or higher for the endgame fights. But that pretty much covers it for today. I hope you enjoyed this video. I hope you don't hate me too much for, like, you know, giving bad advice at the beginning. I did say from the beginning, I'm still learning myself, right? I'm still learning, now I have the knowledge. But yeah, thank you for watching. If you enjoyed the video, please consider liking, subscribing to the channel to see when I upload next. Also, don't forget to support me as a content creator if you want, using the link at the top. If you do support me, make sure you join my Discord, you know, hit me a DM, I can give you some free codes. to use to get yourself some Hero Lights, Water Model, and lots of, you know, other cool stuff. But yeah, thank you for watching. I'm gonna see you on the next one. Peace, love, take care, everyone. Bye, guys.